Hey folks, my guest today is Daniel Wickberg. He is leading a team called Upsales. I had the privilege to spend some time with him back in Barcelona at SaaS. He put on a great event. Something special is happening at Upsales because they were totally packed. The rooftop was really crowded. Their tool is a niche CRM and sales development tool for SaaS companies, again, called upsales.com. Daniel, you ready to take us to the top?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So I guess describe one of your customers today and what they're paying you for.
We started out as a typical CRM almost 20 years ago. And then we did a pivot a few years ago to start focusing more on recurring revenue businesses like ourselves. So today we're targeting SaaS companies and other companies that has some kind of recurring revenue to help them manage, recurring revenue. It's a CRM with built-in like subscription and ARR analytics and stuff like that.
Is it analytics? Those are more like SaaS optics, where it's like RevRec and stuff like that too.
Absolutely.
It's more like SaaS optics than like barometrics.
I'm not too familiar with the differences between those, but I mean, we do revenue recognition. We do all kinds of ARR and MRR analytics,
Okay.
and we spend quite a lot of time to enable our customers to manage SaaS specific KPIs and targets, which is kind of a hassle in most other CRMs.
Yeah, no, I agree. Okay, so what are companies on average paying you per month to use the tool?
So our customer base is kind of distorted at the moment. So up until around 1.5 years ago, we had around 600, 700 customers.
Okay.
And then we used to have a partnership with another Swedish company who we provided a white label, like smaller version of Upsales. And a lot of these very tiny customers migrated to Upsales a while back so we went from like 600 customers to 1,800 customers almost overnight. So I would say like our typical customers, they are around $15,000 in ARR. But now if you just average it out, it's around $7,000, somewhere around that.
Because you added a bunch more lower paying ones.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So what you have like 1,800, 2,000 customers now today?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, 1,800. And then put this on a timeline for me. When did you officially launch the business?
2003.
2003. And did this come from your own pain point? Were you like the lead SDR, the lead AE at another company, and you just wish you had this thing?
No, I mean, the story was I've been doing programming since I was 13 years old. And the plan was to go to, after high school, go to the university and study engineering. But I decided to take like a, sabbatical year off and ended up in a sales job. And I realized that, back then, most of the software tools were like really poor. And most salespeople are not very tech savvy. So that's kind of where I got the idea.
No, that makes a lot of sense. Now, fast forward to today, with 1,800 customers paying on average $7,000 a year. I mean, what that puts you at like 13 million in ARR, something like that.
Yeah, exactly. 13 million.
Right around. That's amazing. And what do you guys think so I guess if you're at 13 million today, where were you exactly a year ago, run rate wise?
Okay, so 1 year ago we were at 9.8. So we're growing the ARR at around, between 30 and 35%.
Yep.
And 2 or 3 years ago, that number was around 20. So we've kind of had a plan to accelerate the growth, and it continues to accelerate. So it's exciting times for us.
Oh, what's going on there, YouTube? Good to see you guys. Now imagine this. You love watching these interviews with SaaS founders, but imagine if we took all of the valuation data out from over 2,807 interviews I've done manually. Saves you a lot of time. Well, we've done this. We've built it into the beautiful interface inside of FounderPath. Check this out. I'll show you how you can access this in a second, but you log in, you connect your Stripe account, you see your valuation real time, you can see what it changed over the past 88 days, and even set goals for valuation this year. Now, the secret to valuation is there's many different ways to value a SaaS business. So the reason you're going to see 3 or 4 different valuations inside of your FounderPath dashboard, this is all free by the way, is because depending on who's doing the buying of your SaaS company, you're going to get a different valuation. A VC is going to pay a different valuation. Private equity firm is different. If you're going to do a minority sale, that's different. And if you sell the whole business, that's a different valuation. You can see all those when I hover over here. Right. So the teal is what a VC would pay. Yellow is what private equity. And red is if you sold the whole thing outright. Now, what's cool about this is not built off random data. Again, you guys hear these interviews on YouTube. All these data are built from real-time valuation data points founders share with us on the show. So traction, 1.2 million, seed round, 3.7 raise. They sold 22% of their business. Go in here and filter by the event. Maybe you only want to see companies that have sold the whole business. Well, here are a bunch that have been acquired, the valuation and the multiple. Maybe you're going out right now and you're raising your seed round. Well, go in here and look at all this recent seed deals that went down, what they raised, what valuation they raised at, and what percent that they sold. There's never been a larger data set of SaaS valuations than what you can get now inside of FounderPath, and we're thrilled to bring it to you. All right, we're going to go back to the YouTube video here in a second, but if you want to check this tool out, if you want to jump in and sign up, you can check it out for free to get your valuation at this link, founderpath.com/products/valuations. Or if you go to founderpath.com and hover over products, click on get your valuation here and go ahead and sign up to give it a whirl. Again, all that valuation data live right inside the platform. I hope to see you there. All right, let's jump back into the interview. That's very exciting. Do you remember what year you crossed $1 million run rate?
$1 million run rate. I mean, in MRR?
No, in ARR.
Oh, $1 million in ARR.
It would have been back in like 2009, 10, 11?
Yeah, somewhere around that, exactly. 2010, I would say.
So you, just to be clear, launched in 2003, took 7 years to break $1 million run rate.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, people always forget this. See, now you're growing great, but like people don't forget the early years, right? Why was it tricky for you in the first 7 years? What took you so long to, I mean, I don't say this in a negative way, but what took you so long to break $1 million run rate?
I mean, I think, I was 22 years old when I founded the business. So, the first years, a lot of the stuff we were doing, we're just experimenting and trying to figure out how to run a business, SaaS or any kind of business. And I think, the early days, we never raised any capital. So, our first 10 years were like barely breaking even, struggling to pay the bills every month. So we used to do a lot of customized consulting stuff for our clients. And I think that kind of helped us in the short term to survive, but it also kind of slowed down our scalability. So it took us a while to kind of get the guts to, decide what we wanted to focus on.
And eventually you did, because you raised, I believe, did you do a secondary first, or did you do the Series A in 2019 first?
Yeah, so we did a secondary, a pre-IPO, which was around $4 to $5 million. And then in the IPO, we raised around $3 million. But we never actually used that money because we had a debt. We did a kind of refinancing a couple of years before. So it's kind of, we raised money, but, we kind of still always been bootstrapped.
Yeah. Well, so I guess tell me about the secondary in 2018 for $5 million. How does that work?
Yeah. So, I mean, I had around 75% ownership back then. And I wanted to kind of be a little bit more aggressive and focus a little bit more on growing the business and a little less on, being super profitable every month. So I wanted to take some cash off the table. So I sold 10% in the pre-IPO, and I had a partner, our former CEO, who was CEO for almost 5 years. He had 7 or 8%. So the total was like 18% that was sold in the pre-IPO.
Oh, so you used the 5 million to buy out your co-founder with 8%, and then you took 10% off the table as well too.
No, I mean, we both sold shares in the secondary round in the pre-IPO.
I guess my question is, though, you said you had 75%. Your other partner had about 8%. Did your other partner sell all of his equity in that secondary?
Yeah, exactly.
So you were buying him out effectively?
Yeah, in a way. Yeah, exactly.
Is he still active today?
No, he isn't.
Okay, yeah. So you were buying, I mean, effectively you were buying him out, we'll call it cleaning up the cap table.
Yeah, exactly. Something like that.
Yeah, fair enough. Now, do you regret anything about that, or was that the right move?
No, that was absolutely the right move, because the story was, as I said, like the early years are really hard. So in 2012, I felt like I needed a break. So that's when Johan, the former CEO, he became CEO, was the CEO for 5 years. And the plan back then was to sell the business, but that didn't really happen. And I started to kind of rediscover my motivation for the business. And then after a few years, being the backseat driver is really hard when you founded the business. So I decided to, I want to push more for growth and be more aggressive, but I don't want to be in the backseat anymore. So yeah, we're very happy with that decision.
No, that makes sense. And it sounds like if you guys sold together about 20%, 18% for $5 million, that valuation on that secondary was somewhere around $25 million, right?
Yeah, a little higher even.
And then when you went public, that was at a $36 million valuation, right?
Yeah, exactly. Today it would translate into like 34 because of the dollar rate, but yeah, something like that.
And why IPO? I mean, how much revenue did you have back in 2019?
2019 we had I think $5.5-6 million in revenue.
Mm-hmm.
So the story about that, we had a plenty of discussions with a couple of private equity firms and other players, but all of them, the valuation was okay, and we felt that some of them could really contribute to the business, but I think I would have felt kind of working with my hands tied behind my back. So going public, and I'm still the majority shareholder, turned out to be like the easiest way to continue running the business the way I want to do it. So yeah, it was. We're very happy with that decision.
Oh, this makes tons of sense. And which stock exchange did you IPO on?
So Nasdaq in Sweden has this one of the kind of smaller Nasdaq lists. It's called First North.
First North, guys. There you have it. First North. And Daniel, how many folks are full time on the team today?
We're around 80 people today.
80. How many engineers?
So the product team is a total of 30 people. Not all of them are engineers. We have a couple of like product owners and designers and so on, but the product team is around 30 people.
Mm-hmm. No, this is great. So when you, obviously you're an up sales, right? So your own sales should look really, the system should be very tight, right? So when you look at net dollar retention, what's your target? What is it today?
Yeah, so our target is to go to somewhere around 140 or 150. I think we are today at around 115, 120, somewhere around that. Mm-hmm. So we're growing. It used to be like 50-50 of the new ARR, net new ARR came from new customers and expansion. Now, because of all the kind of the smaller customers we inherited a while back, now it's around 60-70% comes from expansions. Yeah. So we've also been working hard the last few years to try and bring churn down, which is also it's easier to grow when the churn is coming down.
What is gross churn annually?
We're listed, so that's one of the KPIs we don't report.
Okay, fair enough, no worries. But you can take your gross plus your expansion to get to the 120 net, 115 to 120 net.
Yeah, so when we did the IPO, the churn was around 11 or 12, and it's been decreasing like every quarter since then. And target, we believe we can go as low as maybe 4 or 5% gross churn. So
over time, yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. That's great. Where's most of the growth, as we sort of wrap up here? Where's most of the growth coming today? Right, you inherited a bunch of customers, but how are you adding new customers today?
So we do a lot of. We have two teams. We have the expansion team and the new sales team, so dedicated for bringing in new customers. And we launched a UK expansion 12-14 months ago. So now we're adding like maybe 20-25 customers every month in Sweden and in the UK. And we really try to, we've had this kind of very deliberate land and expand strategy the last 3-4 years. So we don't try to we almost try to kind of decrease the deal size when the customer joins us, because it makes everything easier and it decreases the risk for the customer as well. We just try to add as many customers as we can, and then grow them over time.
How many folks are full-time on your expansion team today?
So expansion with a quota, I think we're 12 or 13.
13.
And we have like 7 or 8 in the new sales team.
Okay, 7 or 8. Interesting. Very cool. I know you took a bunch of numbers ahead of this just to prepare. Any numbers you want to make sure we chat about that I haven't asked about?
I mean, we're very proud of, growing revenues 35% per year with like 25-30% free cash flow margin. So that's a number.
That's impressive. 25% free cash. So you're making, like, to the bottom line, about $250,000 a month.
Yeah, exactly. Somewhere around that.
Yeah. Wow. And and you're growing. So your rule of 40 is effectively like 20 plus 20, or you're basically right at rule of 40.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, we're one of those weird, fast-growing tech companies who also pays a dividend.
Wow.
So yeah.
What's the market have you valued at today? What's your market cap?
It's around $120 million.
Is that cheap?
Yeah, I think. I mean, it used to be 200 in January before everything blew up, but. I mean, I think we're net cash. We don't have any debt. So I think enterprise value ARR multiple is around 7.5 or 8, which is lower than a lot of our peers, I would say.
Yeah.
But we're still, stock market wise, a small company. So hopefully it's gonna get bigger.
All right, we'll see what happens, Daniel. In the meantime, let's wrap up with the famous 5. Number 1, favorite business book.
I would say Hard Thing About Hard Things.
Number 2, is there a CEO you're following or studying?
I really like the Netflix CEO, his book. They get a ton of shit now, but I like his thinkings.
Reed Hastings. Number 3, what's your favorite online tool for building up sales?
We're using a LinkedIn bot. It's called Waalaxy. It's a really small French company, but it's an awesome tool.
Spell it.
It's Waalaxy.
Waalaxy. I've never heard of them. LinkedIn tool. Okay, great.
Tool. It's crazy effective.
Okay, number 4. Well, sorry, I guess what makes it so effective?
I mean, it uses my LinkedIn account to connect with, you pull a list of companies you want to reach. So you upload, like, these are the 2,000 companies we want to talk to. And then it uses my LinkedIn account to connect with the CEOs of those companies. So it's kind of a way to, make me scalable pretty much.
Yeah. That's amazing. Okay, very cool. Number 3, number 4, how many hours of sleep are you getting every night?
I try to get at least 7.
Okay. And what's your situation? Married, single, kids?
Married, 3 kids, and lots of hobbies.
A very busy guy. How old are you?
41.
41. Last question, Daniel. Something you wish you knew when you were 20.
I'm sorry?
Something you wish you knew back when you were 20 years old.
I wish I knew that most of the business decisions you make, you always have a lagging effect. So you need to make the decision and then you need to wait. Took me a long time to realize that.
Instant gratification is not a thing in business. Guys, Upsales.com launched almost 20 years ago in 2003. It took them 7 years to break $1 million in revenue. The slog is real, but now they've just broken $13 million in revenue, growing 30% year over year. They're listed publicly on a small stock exchange in Sweden. And what's beautiful is they're paying out a dividend. They take about $250,000 a month to the bottom line in profits, right, on $1.1 million of MRR. They're serving 1,800 customers and, adding 100, call it 100 per month as they continue to grow with their team of about 80 folks. Daniel, thanks for taking us to the top.
Thanks a lot.
One more thing before you go. We have a brand new show every Thursday at 1 p.m. Central. It's called Shark Tank for SaaS. We call it Deal or Bust. One founder comes on, 3 hungry buyers. They try and do a deal live, and the founder shares back-end dashboards, their expenses, their revenue, ARPU, CAC, LTV, you name it, they share it. And the buyers try and make a deal live. It is fun to watch every Thursday, 1 p.m. Central. Additionally, remember, these recorded founder interviews go live. We release them here on YouTube every day at 2 p.m. Central. To make sure you don't miss any of that, make sure you click the subscribe button below here on YouTube, the big red button, and then click the little bell notification to make sure you get notifications when we do go live. I wouldn't want you to miss breaking news in the SaaS world, whether it's an acquisition, a big fundraise, a big sale, a big profitability statement, or something else. I don't want you to miss it. Additionally, if you want to take this conversation deeper and further, we have by far the largest private Slack community for B2B SaaS founders. You want to get in there. We've probably talked about your tool if you're running a company or your firm if you're investing. You can go in there and quickly search and see what people are saying. Sign up for that at nathanlatka.com/Slack. In the meantime, I'm hanging out with you here on YouTube. I'll be in the comments for the next 30 minutes. Feel free to let me know what you thought about this episode. And if you enjoyed it, click the thumbs up. We get a lot of haters that are mad at how aggressive I am on these shows, but I do it so that we can all learn. We have to counter those people. We got to push them away. Click the thumbs up below to counter them and know that I appreciate your guys' support. All right, I'll be in the comments. See ya.